The big moth carried him along, moving by memory through the night. It quivered its dusty wings, weaving through the mountains that lay like giants sleeping back to back. Above them, a velvet sky. Below, the dense forest. The pilot turned towards the passenger and pointed ahead to a huge white hole in the ground that looked like the glowing throat of a volcano. The helicopter veered off in that direction. 7 minutes later, they landed on the verge of the highway. The road was closed, and the area was guarded by police. A man in a blue suit walked beneath the blades and welcomed the passenger, holding down his flyaway tie as best he could.
"Dr. Gavila, we've been expecting you,"
he said loudly to keep his voice from being drowned out by the noise of the rotors. Goran Gavila didn't reply. Special Agent Stern went on.
"Come with me. I'll explain on the way."
They walked along a makeshift path, leaving behind them the sound of the helicopter, which was gaining altitude again, sucked up into an inky sky. The fog rolled like a shroud, blurring the outlines of the hills. Around them, the aromas of the forest, mixed and sweetened by the damp of night that rose up inside their clothes, creeping coldly along their skin.
"It hasn't been easy, I assure you. You really have to see it with your own eyes."
Agent Stern walked a few steps ahead of Goran, pushing his way through the bushes with his hands, talking to him without looking round.
"It all kicked off this morning at about 11. 2 little boys are walking along the path with their dog. They enter the forest, climb the hill, and come into the clearing. The dog is a Labrador, and, as you know, they're dogs that like to dig. So suddenly the animal goes mad because it's caught a scent. It digs a hole, and out comes the first one."
Goran tried to keep pace as they made their way into increasingly dense vegetation along the slope that was gradually becoming steeper. He noticed that Stern had a little tear in his trousers at knee height, a sign that he had come this way several times that night.
"Obviously the boys run away immediately and alert the local police," the officer continued. "They arrive, carry out an examination of the place, the hills, looking for clues. So far, all routine activity. Then someone thinks of digging again to see if there's anything else, and out comes the second one. At this point, they called us. We've been here since 3 now. We still don't know how much stuff there is under there. So, here we are."
A little clearing opened up in front of them, lit by spotlights, the volcano's shining mouth. Suddenly the scents of the forest vanished, and the men were struck by an unmistakable stench. Goran lifted his head, allowing the smell to fill him. "Phenic acid," he said to himself. And then he saw it. A circle of little graves, and about 30 men in white overalls digging in that Martian halogen light, armed with little spades and brushes to move the earth as delicately as possible. Some of them were combing the grass, others taking photographs and carefully cataloguing everything they found. They moved in slow motion. Their gestures were precise, calibrated, hypnotic, wrapped in sacral silence, broken only by the occasional little explosions of the flashes. Goran could see Special Agents Sarah Rosa and Klaus Boris, and Roche, the chief inspector, who recognized him and immediately came striding over. Before he could open his mouth, Goran cut in with a question.
"How many?" 5. Each one is 50 centimeters long, by 20 wide and 50 deep. What do you think you would bury in holes like that?"
One thing in all of them. The same thing. The criminologist stared at him expectantly. The reply came.
"A left arm."
Goran turned to look at the men in the white overalls, working away in that absurd woodland cemetery. The ground yielded only decomposing remains, but the origin of the evil that brought them here must lie somewhere before this unreal and suspended time.
"Is it them?"
Goran asked, but this time he already knew the reply.